Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Maurice. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today, we're going to start the final unit for this year called Nuestro País y Nuestros Vecinos. Now, during this unit, we'll be talking about our country and the countries to our north and south. Do you already know what those countries are? Now, you may recognize some of the things that we're studying in this unit from earlier in the year, such as the cardinal directions and the names of the countries we'll be studying. Now, I hope that you enjoy this unit, and I hope you learn something from it. Pero primero vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. All right, muy bien. Well, I tell you what, let's start by looking at the calendar. And I'm going to ask you the same questions about the calendar that I've been asking you all year long. I'd like to see if you can recognize the question and answer it before we answer it as a class. ¿Listos? The first question is, ¿cuál es la fecha de hoy? Now, you can answer this for the date that you're watching this, but just to give us all something to work with, let's see, we have a calendar here. Let's see, if today were a Friday, and it were the 16th of this month, how will you answer that? Raise your hand and tell your teacher. Okay, did you say, hoy es viernes 16 de abril? Did you get that? Well, hopefully by now you're starting to recognize a lot of these things in terms of the numbers and the months. And this that I'm just about to ask you about, ¿cuáles son los días de la semana? Do you remember this? ¿Cuáles son los días de la semana? Okay, now everybody help me answer this one, okay? Los días de la semana son lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado y domingo. All right. Now, last unit, we focused on a question and studied some answers to it. The question was, ¿dónde vives? Do you remember that? Now, for this question, we talked about a lot of different answers. Let's go ahead and review those right now and see how well you recall those. The first one was, if you lived here, okay, if you lived in this place, you would say, vivo en, go ahead and raise your hand now. Tell your teachers, see how many of your students are raising their hands and how many of them can answer this. A las tres. Una, dos, tres, vivo en un pueblo. Let's try another one. If you lived here, raise your hand. Tell your teacher. A las tres. Una, dos, tres. Vivo en una ciudad. Okay. Those should look pretty familiar to you. How about this one? Raise your hand. Tell your teacher. A las tres. Una, dos, tres. Vivo en el campo. El campo. And that looks kind of like the word to me, camp, which you do out in el campo. We also looked at some places, some building type things that you might live in. If you lived in one room in one of these, you might say, what? Raise your hand and tell your teacher. Una, dos, tres. Vivo en un apartamento. Vivo en un apartamento. And if you lived in one of these, a las tres. Una, dos, tres. Vivo en una casa. Then we started talking about relative size, and we said, this is a building. Yeah, how did we say this? Vivo en una, dos, tres. Un edificio de apartamentos. But if you lived in one of these, we'd say, oh, this one is big. Do you remember how to say that? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, dos, tres. Vivo en un edificio grande de apartamentos. And if you lived in one of these, raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, a la dos, a la tres. Vivo en un edificio pequeño de apartamentos. Oh, look at this one. Is this one big or small? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, dos, tres. Vivo en una casa grande. And how about this one? What do you call this? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Vivo en una casa pequeña. Now, towards the end of the unit, we also talked about some new answers. For example, what is this one? Do you remember? Es un estado. So you could answer, vivo en el estado de Arizona. Vivo en el estado de Arizona. Now, depending on where you live, you might answer that question differently. I'll tell you what, why don't you go ahead and practice right now with, let's practice with your teacher. Okay, teacher, you stand up there. Now, all of the students, look up there at the teacher, okay, and ask the teacher, ¿Dónde vives? Okay, now teacher, you answer using this form, vivo en el estado de, now use the name of the state where you live. Okay, now let's turn it around. Teacher, look at all those students out there, and you ask each one of them, ¿Dónde vives? Or if you're going to ask all of them, you'd say, ¿Dónde viven? Go ahead and ask them right now. Okay, and students, you answer using this form. Vivo en el estado de, and tell us what state. Now, I'd like to point out that there's a map of the United States in your bulletin board materials in the teacher's guide with all of the state names in Spanish. Some are the same, some are different. You can refer to that if you'd like. It's usually a good idea to keep practicing these things, so try going over these phrases with your classmates occasionally. And another good way to review is by watching this video and repeating along with it. Ahora, presten atención y repitan todos. ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en un pueblo. ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en una ciudad.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en el campo.
¿Dónde vives? Vivo en un apartamento. ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en una casa.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en un edificio de apartamentos grande. ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en un edificio de apartamentos pequeño.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en una casa grande. ¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en una casa pequeña. Muy bien. Right now, I'd like to show you a couple of important things that we'll be talking about in this unit. The first one is this question. ¿Quién es tu vecino? Okay. ¿Quién es tu vecino? Well, I tell you what, let's look at this picture. Okay. Este es el vecino. Este es el vecino de esta casa. Okay. Y este es el vecino de esta casa. Son vecinos. Vecinos. Okay. Can you figure out from the context and from the picture what this word means, vecinos? Okay, the house is next door to this house. What would that be? What are they? They're neighbors. Neighbors. So if I ask you, ¿quién es tu vecino? You could tell me about the house where you live and who lives next to you. Or if I said, who is your vecino? You could tell me about the person sitting next to you in class. Well, I tell you what, let me tell you this. Tu vecino vive al lado de tu casa. Vive al lado de tu casa. And let me show you what that looks like. Okay. Este niño está al lado de esta niña y esta niña está al lado de este niño. Al lado de, what are they? They're right next to each other. Lado means side, like the side of something. So al lado de means to the side of. They're next to each other, aren't they? Yeah. Well, tell you what, that's enough for today. Right now, I'd like to teach you a poem in Spanish. It's about a girl named Lola, and she's going to be talking. Now, Lola works in a button factory, Fábrica de Botones. One day, the boss comes by and asks her if she's busy. She says, no. So the boss tells her to start pushing a button with her right hand. Well, from there on, things get harder and harder for poor Lola. I think you'll see what I mean. Now, some students came to our classroom here the other day to help me out with this poem. Why don't you all stand up, párense todos, and join us in reciting and moving to this poem. Ahora, presten atención y repitan todos. All right. We're going to go ahead and do a poem now called Lola. And these guys are going to help me out with it here. And I'd like you guys to help me out too. So, párense todos. And let's do this. I'll explain it to you as we go along the first time. It says, Hola, me llamo Lola. That means, hello, my name is Lola. Y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. And you remember some of these words from our thing. That means I work in a button factory. Un día vino el jefe. One day the boss came. Y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupada? The boss came and he says, Lola, are you busy? Y dije, no. And I said, no. And he said, pues oprime un botón con la mano derecha. Okay, let's all push that button with our right hand. Hola, me llamo Lola y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. Un día vino el jefe y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupada? Le dije, no, pues oprime un botón con la mano izquierda. Hola, me llamo Lola y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. Un día vino el jefe y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupado? Le dije, no, pues oprime un botón con el pie derecho. Hola, me llamo Lola y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. Un día vino el jefe y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupada? Le dije, no, pues oprime un botón con el pie izquierdo. Hola, me llamo Lola y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. Un día vino el jefe y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupada? Le dije, no, pues oprime un botón con la cabeza. Hola, me llamo Lola y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. Un día vino el jefe y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupada? Le dije, no, pues oprime un botón con la lengua. Hola, me llamo Lola y trabajo en una fábrica de botones. Un día vino el jefe y dijo, Lola, ¿estás ocupada? Le dije, sí. She finally said, yes, she was busy. Good job. Practice that. It's good exercise. Good job, guys. Did you like that one? Good. And, of course, the words for that and all of our songs and poems are in the student resource notebook and also in the teacher's guide. So if you'd like to refer to those, you should recognize almost all of those words. You can go ahead and practice doing that in your classroom. Like I say, it's good exercise. It's a good review of a lot of things that we've been covering. Well, right now, I'd like to show you another game that you may try to play to review the vocabulary words. I really like this one, okay? The game is called Verdugo. Verdugo. Can you guys all say that? Okay. Well, let's look at it right now, and I wonder if you've ever seen this game before. It's called Verdugo, and what you see here is I've set up something here and some blanks. And the point of this game is I want you to try to guess what the different letters are that go into here. Okay? Now, one of the good strategies is to start off with the vowels. Do you remember the vowels? Okay? What's the first one? Ah. Okay, well, ah isn't in there. So, how about what the next vowel? E. Well, there is a letter E. I. Well, la I. O. O. U. Nope. U. Uh-huh. Now you try to guess some of the consonants that go in there. What would you say? B? Nope. How about R? Nope. How about N? Oops, yeah, there's an N. How about A, B, C? C. Hey, I think I recognize the word now. It's one of the new words that we talked about today. Vecino. Vecino. That was one of the words that we talked about today. So you can do that in your classrooms with other students, and it'll kind of help you go over the vocabulary words in hopefully a more agreeable format. Yeah, we'll try a lot of different ways to go over those. Well, we reviewed several things today and learned a couple of new words like vecinos and al lado de. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. For our goodbye song today, I'd like to sing La Cucaracha. Okay, my kids love this song. I hope you guys enjoy it. Canten conmigo. Todas las muchachas tienen en los ojos dos estrellas, pero las mexicanitas de seguro son más bellas. La cucaracha ya no quiere caminar, porque no tiene, porque le falta dinero para gastar. The cockroach song. You guys keep going over what we've done here. Try to ask each other those questions that we've been learning all year long. Teachers, you get in there and you practice with them too, okay? Until our next class, adios y hasta luego.